Hi, Ronnie. This is Wendy Nixon, and I wanted to respond to your post. Thank you so much for addressing children's issues. I think they are very important, and I've really spent my entire career advocating for children and helping them to recover from trauma. Um, I think your statement that really stood out is about providers not receiving training for child mental health and being unable to distinguish the differing mental health needs of infants, children, and adolescents, obviously from adults, and working with children, that their issues can be very different. I really loved your title too about the importance of caring for children. Very clearly, Jesus did, and he is our role model. So I think that it's very important to consider children. They're a vulnerable population. Really, they're very powerless. The power differential of adults over children has left them particularly vulnerable to, being trained to do what adults say. And, while obedience is important, in cases of abuse and neglect, children just don't have a voice to speak up. And I did notice too that in chapter 8 of our textbook, The Global Mental Health, Minas, who wrote the chapter 2014, discussed the Millennium Development Goals, as proposed by the United Nations. And it really stood out that goal 4 was to reduce child mortality. So clearly, that also speaks to the vulnerability of children and really needing advocates and extra help. I love the website that you reviewed, the International Association for Child and Adolescent Psychiatry and Allied Professions. I think their training that they offer was just phenomenal. Not only to have the resources, but also classes and resources. Classes that can be taken, and even the scholarships to provide funding for training. So I just really, I believe that really, they go above and beyond, um, just having resources like some websites. So seems like that was really top notch. Also, in thinking about training and what people need to know about children, children do have special needs and special presentation of symptoms even. For example, even in the DSM-5 discusses how depression can manifest in children as irritability. And so someone who's not trained in that, could miss that as a symptom. That's just one small example. I also think about some of the history of child advocacy and protection. I learned early on in my career that, the first child abuse case was prosecuted here in this country in 1874, which was a while back. Thankfully, the issue was recognized. The little girl named Mary Ellen, and you can find this on Wikipedia under Child Protective Services. But that always stood out to me that this case of child abuse was actually prosecuted under animal protection laws because there were no protection for children. And then in 1974 were actually the first federal laws in our country for child abuse, the Child Abuse Prevention and Treatment Act. So fairly late, considering that this has been a very serious issue in society for obviously since the start of time. So I did, just one other final thought, I did like there was another website, the Cittadinanza, the Italian agency. That seemed really, I really liked that because they seem to also address children with special needs and kind of that special population. It just didn't seem that it was as current, but I thought that was also a good resource. I started thinking about it. I was really tempted to judge some of these websites by how many they could reach, but really I was reminded that even though that's a temptation, Jesus left the 99 to find the one, and so individuals are unique and important. Thank you so much, Ronnie, for your post. Take care. Bye.